This is Paul Newman, and if you are seeing this screen, I am hoping to assure you here. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video on my own YouTube channel. Thank you very much for taking the time to join me today. It's very much appreciated. Heading towards the weekend, where there's going to be plenty of classic action. The rescheduled Queensland Derby is going to be on the same day as the Queensland Oaks, and we've also got two classics in the UK as well, the Derby and Oaks, and the Belmont Stakes, which takes place this year at Saratoga, coming up as well this weekend. What we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at a horse that is now based in the USA via Ireland. But before then, where can people find all these horses? ClassicWatch25.great/site.net is where people will be able to find them. You'll see there that the Roll of Honour is coming together quite nicely now. Plenty of horses making their way onto the site from plenty of areas. We've got France, Ireland, the UK, the USA, Japan and Australia all on the site now, maybe hoping to get the odd German horse on towards the end of the season if things go well. But yeah, definitely a site in progress. Two classic winners last weekend. What can it do this weekend? Time will tell. Classic Watch 25.great/site.net is where people will be able to find the horses. Excuse me, maybe including this one, Hill Road. So happy to get this one on. This is a good horse. I've always enjoyed this one. Hill Road, a colt, foaled on April the 5th, 2022, sired by Quality Road, out of a dam called Exotic Notion, who herself is by Lemon Drop Kid. Very well bred horse. You'll see there, according to Equibase, the connections, jockey, it will be Iwad Ortiz. That might have been the current entry or the last run. Don't know how Equibase works. Trained by Chad Brown. The horse owned by Ammo Racing USA and bred by Lynch Bages Limited and Camas Park Stud. Consigned at the sales by Paramount Sales. And now, because the horses work in America, people should be able to see the auction history of the horse. $350,000. Sold as lot number 114 in the September Keeneland sales. Shame they don't show that on the Racing Post for free. It really is. But yeah, Hill Road, interesting horse. 5 starts in his career, 2 firsts and 2 thirds so far. So only once out of the first 5 in his career. Earnings of $336,496 American dollars in his career. If people are there sitting this watching the start of this video thinking, hang on a minute, Newman, I remember this one. You're not telling the full story here, then you are in fact right. Because this horse actually raced in Ireland as a 2-year-old. Deemed good enough to consider the 2024 National Stakes, beaten 9 lengths on the day by Scorthy Champ. Not exactly top form, is it, currently? After winning by 5 lengths, defeating Shackleton on his debut at 11-2 in what can only be described as an absolute romp, which put the horse as one to follow. I mean, it's a typical Newman horse, this. I do like this horse. I always like the pedigree of it as well. You see then it ran at 60-1 in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile on the dirt. First run on the dirt. Look. 61-1, third. What a performance. So running to what is currently a best Racing Post rating of 104. The horse then, I think, was already in America then, but it ran in the colours on the 8th of March in the South Tampa Bay Derby, Grade 3. The horse was third behind Owen Almighty on its first run in America this year, and then it was transferred permanently from Adrian Murray to Chad Brown. And the horse defeated McAfee, who is the actual brother of Torpedo Anna, apparently. I didn't know that until I read that article on that race. In the Group 3 Peter Pan Stakes earlier this year by 3/4 of a length in a race that the Racing Post so far have chosen not to rate, unfortunately. So the best Racing Post rating of the horse so far is still the 104 that the horse gained in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Yeah, very interesting horse, it's fair to say. I've always liked him, and he's come good at the right time, hasn't he? By just getting his head in front before the Classic, the Belmont. And let's see how the horse goes. What we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at the pedigree of the horse. People will see that the dam line is 2E of Hill Road, which I did actually look on my recently updated list of dam lines of all the classic watch possibles horses on the videos, sight horses and non-sight horses. This is the first ever one we've done on a dam line 2E. So Hill Road, going to have a good go, hopefully. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the first 5 dams, even though the 5th dam was born in 1956, but she did race quite well. So we'll finish off at her. We'll pick up any other horse along the way that we find. Look at the first 4 dams as well. What we'll also do then is, seeing as though the horse did Rompone first time out and get me very excited. I remember it now. Oh, what a race that was. I thought I'd identified a world champion. I might still have. Who knows? When that horse won that race, because I was massively into one of the relatives at the time, and I thought I've cracked it again. And then when it ran at 61-1 and finished third, I wasn't persuaded that I hadn't. Do you know what I mean? Good horse. This could be. I do like some more than others. It's difficult not to. You know, it really is. I do try and take the emotion out of it sometimes, because a lot of these are really, on the Classic Watch videos, they're all very good horses. Very good. But you do have your favourites, don't you? People are only human. And this one here, I do hope does well. You'll see there that we're going to start now then with Exotic Notion. Exotic Notion is the dam of Hill Road, a mare born in 2012, sired by Lemon Drop Kid out of Paris Notion. People will see there that Exotic Notion raced 9 times in her career. It was only out of the first 3 once in 9 starts, 4 wins, 2 places and 2 shows. Earnings of 32,000 only, though, 373 US dollars. So she was a horse that was very well placed at her own level, albeit very low. She was actually racing in Argentina, and she was placed in a listed race, the Classico Jockey Club do Rosario, and she also was second in the San Isidro Handicap as well. But a lot of the good races takes place at Palermo and other places in Argentina, and she didn't really race at the top level there. Very shrewd whoever bought this horse, aren't they? It's fair to say, because she is and now what's turned out to be, I think, a well-bred horse. Not totally based on one horse, but I do like City of Light as a horse and a stallion. You know, he's a dam of fierceness, isn't he? And I looked at the damn side of fierceness. I thought to myself, the stallion of that is only going to have to be half decent, and I've got a horse here. And you saw the rest, what happened with the horse fierceness. City of Light itself wasn't a bad horse. He was never out of the first 3 in 11 starts. 6 wins, 4 seconds and a third. Wasn't really following dirt racing as much as I am now these days. A career earnings of 5,662,600 American dollars. Very good horse, sired by Quality Road as well, out of Paris Notion. So we've got a full sister. Oh no, we haven't. Lemon Drop Kid is ours. Sorry, my mistake. Quality Road this one is Quality Road, and so is City of Light. That's what got me quite excited at the time, after watching it Rompone by 5 lengths on debut, which you will see in a minute. Well, I'll say in a minute, but very good horse. City of Light was. You see a Group 1 winner at 3, the 2017 Malibu Stakes, but it was at 4. He really did crack on. He won the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. He won the Triple Bend Stakes, the Oaklawn Handicap, and he was also second in the Forgo and third in the Gold Cup at Santa Anita. And at 5, the horse won the Pegasus World Cup Invitational as well of 2019. Entered stud then at Land's End, Kentucky. 2025 fee, 35,000 American dollars. And you'll see that I think this is a very promising stallion. City of Light. Yeah, he's doing well, I think. You'll see the first 2 crops have now raced at 3 and 4, and you'll see that 2 and 3, maybe, and look at that. Absolutely magnificent the first 2 crops have been. You can't really knock it, this stallion. I think so far 398 foals have been born by City of Light. 238 of them have ran. And between them, 144 horses have won 323 races. The horse has already sired 14 individual stakes winners, who between them have sired 27 stakes winners. That's nearly more than 2 a horse. Nearly, isn't it? half, double that. And again, with the stakes is over. 6 graded winners who have signed between them 13 graded race victories. I mean, very good horse. You'll see it 2, 3 and 4 people see him in business. You see, very good, promising stallion, I think. Again, the Colts seeming to hold sway. I say again, rather like the one we looked at yesterday. The Colts looking to hold sway at the moment over the fillies. And the distances where people under 5 furlongs look to be struggling. But over the mile and above, look, all the classic trips that people like to see. The horse is firing in the graded winners. Look. Very good horse, I think this could prove to be. 211 of the runners have gone round in the USA, so he's a pretty one-dimensional horse at the moment. But hopefully that will grow as I think breeders are too shrewd to notice that this is not a good stallion, I think. And that maybe pigeonholed a bit of a dirt stallion. That's what I do wish this page would have, a dirt and turf statistics. That'd be good. But yeah, City of Light, brilliant horse. You'll see the progeny, obviously led by the mighty Fierceness. What a horse. Absolute pleasure to identify that one go round it was. And he's still not really raced at 4, only once. Formidable man as well. The Hollywood Derby winner, another Group 1 winner there. Chop, who I actually did chance as well. Yeah, I've safe to say I've enjoyed a few of these go round looking at these, haven't I? Yeah. Good stallion. Yeah, you got to trust some at the lower levels. You know, you can't all afford to pay the top prices. And this, I think this is a good value stallion. This City of Light, and I do think he will only rise up through the ranks. Hopefully, through the years. Liam's Journey is another horse we need to look at. Colt, born in 2021, sired by Liam's Mac out of Lofturg, not the national hurdler, trained by David Pipe. Paris Notion, you'll see, is the second dam. Martin Pipe, sorry. Paris Notion is the second dam of this horse. Liam's Journey only won 1 out of 8 starts, but he was in the first 3 in 4 of his 8. 1 win, 1 second and 2 thirds, earning $105,738 US dollars. Liam's Journey was second in the Group 2 Pilgrim Stakes, as 2 in the Group 2 Pilgrim Stakes of 2023. I don't know if the horse is still going round. It's updated as recently as April. He could be. Paris Notion is another one. Paris Notion, the second dam of the horse. Hill Road. Paris Notion, a mare born in 1998, sired by De Gea, out of Fabulous Notion. This dam, Paris Notion, is actually unraced on the track. So not much happening on the first 2 dams, sadly, at pattern level. But I do think there's some nice horses, some interesting horses on this line. Like I said, it's the first one we've done, and we'll have a scroll down it later. Fabulously Fast. A mare born in 1994, sired by Deputy Minister. That was an underrated stallion as well. Out of a dam called Fabulous Notion. So this is a half-sister to our dam, the second dam. Fabulously Fast, raced 9 times in her career, lived up to her name quite well, winning 4 of them in the first 3 in 7 out of 9 starts. Earnings of $213,100 US dollars in her career. Fabulously Fast was third, placed in 2 Group 1 races at 2, the Spinaway Stakes and the Matron Stakes of 1996, and won the Test Stakes, Group 1 of 1997. Didn't really find much that she'd bred, really. She did okay. I found they're all raced, but they didn't really win anything at a pattern level. There's a lot of the US stakes winners that I've left off this list because there's so many of those races. You know, they can be misleading. But this one actually did win a Group 1 race, Fabulously Fast. Decelerator is an interesting horse. A mare born in 2007, sired by De Gea again, out of Paris Rose. So you'll see there that a Fabulous Notion is the second dam of this horse. Decelerator raced 21 times in her career, 5 wins, 5 seconds and a third. Earnings of $366,904 US dollars in her career. Again, she did quite well. Decelerator, you'll see she won the Group 3 Debutante Stakes of 2009 at 2. She was also placed in the Group 2 Golden Rod Stakes and the Pocahontas Stakes. At 3 in 2010, she made a mark at Group 2 level when being placed in the Raven Run Stakes. And at 4, she was also placed in another stakes race. So again, you see, we're getting bogged down in these stakes races again, padding out the form of them. But she was placed in a Group 2, and she won placed in 2 Group 2s, and she won a Group 3 as well, Decelerator, and also a black type producer. And she produced some nice horses. One of them won a few stakes races in America that we left off the list. Nafayez. Now, I don't remember this horse going round, the mare. Born in 2015, sired by Exceed and Excel, out of Decelerator. Nafayez raced 10 times in her career, 4 wins, 2 places, 2 shows. Went down very well. And earning $993,750 South African dollars. Rand, South African have. But I know it's in the millions. So I think that's translating into American dollars, having run in South Africa. I don't know. 993,750 of them anyway. The horse won a pattern race. She won 2 Group 2 races. She won the Group 2 Tomby Challenge at Turffontein, and she also won the 2019 Gauteng Fillies Guineas, another Group 2 race, placed in the South African Fillies Classic in Turffontein as well as the Empress Club Stakes as well. So yeah, dual Group 1 place, dual Group 2 winner. She won the first leg of the South Africa Triple Tiara in 2019, Nefayez. Stoltz is a nice horse. Stoltz, born in 2017, sired by More Than Ready, out of Decelerator. I don't quite know what's happened there. They unaware that this horse is run on the Pedigree online thoroughbred database for some reason. I mean, people need to really think this horse is credible, that what they see, if they see a horse hasn't run on here, they need to trust it hasn't. What they don't want to be seeing is that it's raced 19 times and won a Group 3 in Hong Kong with a best racing post rating of 116. You know, Stoltz was only 4 lengths behind Yar King Rising in the 2024 Sha-Tin Vase. You know, racing to 111. That's the latest Hong Kong superstar, isn't it? The horse did win the Group 3 National Day Cup in October 2023, a handicap at Sha-Tin, beating Adios by a neck, running to a mark of 116. But it's a horse that's come through the handicaps, really. Made its debut in Australia at Canterbury, I think that is. Then went to Hong Kong. Used to be trained by Kieran Maher and David Eustace. And then to Annabel Neesham as well. But yeah, Group 3 winner in Hong Kong. This horse, Stoltz. Again, out of Decelerator as well. So yeah, very interesting horse, Decelerator. Safe to say she did quite well. Royal Lahaina is another one I found. A mare born in 2008. Sired by Chapel Royal, out of Fabulous Bonus. You'll see there that Fabulous Notion is the third dam of this horse. Royal Lahaina raced 28 times in her career, 7 wins, 5 seconds, 3 thirds. Not another good horse. 15 out of 28 starts in the first 3. Earnings of $536,830 US dollars. Royal Lahaina, you'll see, winner of the Group 2 Go for One handicap of 2013, held at Aqueduct, and also won the Mariensky Stakes, and again, padded out with those American stakes races as well. But she was a legitimate Group 2 winner of the Go for One handicap. Royal Lahaina, good horse. Fabulous Notion. You'll see now at the third dam of Hill Road. This is a lovely filly. Look. Fabulous Notion, a mare born in 1980, sired by Something Fabulous, out of Careless Notion. 16 starts, 9 wins and 3 thirds. Earnings of $702,002. I mean, this is a nice horse. 9 wins out of 16 starts. In the 80s, you'll see the horse won the Starlet Stakes and the Saddleback Stakes. Three stakes races at 2. About 3, the horse made its mark in the Santa Susana Stakes, Group 1 race in 1983. She also won the Linda Vista Handicap, Group 3 race. 3rd in the Group 2, Delmar Oaks, the Santa Ynez Stakes, and the Le Bray Stakes. I think they're rated about the same now. Le Bray Stakes might be rated a bit higher than that now. And you'll see, yeah, very good horse. Group 1 and Group 3 winner placed in a couple of Group 2s. The third dam of Hill Road. So it's hard not to get excited when you see that. Very good horse. And are fabulously fast, who we have already looked at. This is an interesting horse. I never knew this horse existed. Caco Ethes? Never heard of the horse. A horse born in 1986, a UK horse, sired by Alunar out of Careless Notion. I mean, this horse was quite good. Trained by Ben Harwood, I think it was. But was it a Juddmonte horse? No, owned by Toya Sato Stallion Centre. The horse was third in the Autumn Stakes of 1988. And at 3, the horse won the Derby Trial. I don't know which one that is, Lingfield or Sandown. I don't know. Cal or Gat, Derby Trial. Could be any either. We'll go for Lingfield, shall we? Of 1989. The horse also won the Royal Ascot that year, the Group 2, King Edward VII Stakes. The horse was second in the King George and the Juddmonte International, and third in the Derby of 1989. Very good horse. At 4, the horse won the Turf Classic. I don't know if that's the Joe Hirsch Turf Classic in America, Group 1. Second in the Hoover Cumberland Lodge Stakes, Group 3. Fantastic who used to sponsor these races before the bookmakers got involved. And it's third actually that year in the Japan Cup as well. Raced in the Great Britain, the US and Japan. Entered stud at Toya Sato Stallion Centre before suddenly dying in September 2009 of a heart attack. So I don't know if it only raced once for them and raced for somebody else all through its career. The horse bred by Fran and Ray Stark. But yeah, very good horse. Look, 14 starts, 4 wins, 3 places, 3 shows for $1,169,064 US. When I identified Fierceness, I never even knew this horse existed, I don't think. I mean, I'd have been, and the horse was winning at 30-1 to me in the Breeders' Cup, and it was still being quite well favoured, you know. Just makes you wonder, doesn't it? But you'll see there that is actually a half sister to the Group 1 winning third dam of Hill Road. You know, some interesting horses quite close related to Old Hill Road, isn't there? If people look at Arian, they will find, if they look at properly on Arian, they'll find a stallion called Sabuno Jr. What I had to do to find it is I had to look on the stallion register on every list for the dam of one of our dams, Careless Notion. And it came up, Caco Ethes is actually still on Arian, fantastically, despite being born nearly 40 years ago. Caco Ethes, 800-fold, 815 horses out in Japan, 753 of them ran, 526 of them won, and the horse in fact side 4, only 4, but 4 nonetheless, stakes winners. It's never easy for a foreign stallion in Japan, I don't think. This one managed to get his head in front 4 times. So 4 individual horses anyway. So very good horse, Caco Ethes was in the day. Yeah, I never knew that horse existed before today. I'm always learning, always improving, hopefully. The next one, Margaret Booth, we're going to take a look at now. A mare born in 1983, sired by Well Decorated, out of Careless Notion again. Margaret Booth had a decent enough career as well. In the first 3 and 9 of her 18 starts, 4 wins, 4 seconds and a third. Earnings of $116,370 US in her career. Margaret Booth was actually second in the Group 2 Chula Vista Handicap, Grade 2 at Del Mar in 1987. I'm pretty sure the Torrey Pine Stakes is actually a pattern race now, but it wasn't then when Margaret Booth won it in 1986. Next one we need to take a look at is Careless Jewel. This is an interesting one. I didn't find this one myself. I found it on the odd historical site. The others I found just for having a clicks around and finding out. People see that Careless Notion is the third dam of this horse here, Careless Jewel. A mare born in 2006, sired by Tappet, out of Sweet and Careless. People see this horse won the Group 1 Alabama Stakes in 2009 and the Group 2 Delaware Oaks and the Cotillion Stakes, Group 2. That's a Group 1 race this year. Last year it was a Torpedo Anna won it. So that is a Group 1 race now. Dual Group 2 and Group 1 winner in her day. Sadly pensioned off in March 2019 due to chronic colic. Yeah, very nice filly. Careless Jewel, also on the same line. Reframe was an interesting horse I found. That was bred by Careless Jewel, a mare Born in 2018, sired by American Pharaoh. Refrain, raced 16 times in her career, 6 wins, 1 second and 2/3. And there were earnings of 84,683,000 yen out in Japan. This horse had a decent career in Japan. It was second in the Takanosayama Tokubetsu and fourth in the KU Cup. And at 4, the horse won the listed Paradise Stakes of 2022, as well as running in a couple of other turf races, and dirt races at Chukyu, the Cold Moon Stakes. Retired due to neck problems. That's just the opinion of the updater. And sent home to summer wind after producing no foals, unfortunately. But yeah, Reframe, a listed winner out in Japan, out of Careless Jewel. Careless Notion, the dam of our horse, the 4th dam, I think, of Hill Road. Yes. Careless Notion, born 4 years before me in 1970. Bred by Monaghan Farms Incorporated and owned by Front and Ray Stark again. The horse sired by Jester out of Miss Uppity. People see that Careless Notion only won 1 out of his 12 starts, but she was in the first 3 in 7 of 12. 3 seconds and 3/3, earnings of $13,015 US. People see that she was padded out both second in the La Centinela Stakes of 1973. The American pattern is actually quite recent. You know, there were fillies going around winning races that are Group 1 races now in the 60s and the 70s that weren't even pattern races then. Careless Notion, a decent dam, and the 5th dam, Miss Uppity, a mare, born in 1956, sired by Nasrullah, what a horse, out of nursery school. Miss Uppity raced 26 times in her career, 4 wins, 7 seconds and 4/3. 15 out of 26 times in the first 3, earnings of $53,825 US. You'll see she went around quite well again. 3rd in the Del Mar Debutante Stakes, which other Group 2 or Group 1 race now, in 1958. She's another one that figured in the Santa Susana Stakes. I'm not sure if that race is what it is now. The California Open she managed to win in 1959. So she went around quite well, the 5th dam, but born in 1956, she must be nearly 70 years old. You know? Very good. Very interesting line, though. I did on the historic line, you see, 2E. It's a line that I've never, like I said, I've never chanced one on it before. I'll just scroll down it. You see that they had a little go on it mainly in Australia, from what I could find. I'll find our section when I get to it. I don't really want to be scrolling past it, but you see there that the Australians had a go from there onwards. Look at that, absolutely battered it. Nuffield, I think there's a Nuffield Stakes in Australia. High Regard won the Guineas. All good Australian horses in the 50s and 60s on this line. Look, multiple Australian classic winners. Legs was a decent enough stallion. I still see it every now and again in pedigrees of horses I look at. Luskin Star, I think there's definitely a Luskin Star Stakes race in America. I mean, in Australia, sorry, but you'll see most of it has been done, damage has been done in Australia. The Yugoslavs had a go around the 1980s as well on it. But there's our section there. Look, there's Careless Notion. Not so careless. Careless Jewel, I found on this site. Didn't find that one when I was looking at Fierceness and other City of Light, and other horses. You know, but there's one that does lead to classic winners. Look, even before the Second World War, in horses like Granville. Horse born in 1933, sired by Gallant Fox, Triple Crown winner out of Gravita. People say that Gravita is in fact the 2nd dam of Miss Uppity. You know, actually, oh no, Gravitate. Sorry, we're interested in Gravitate, the 2nd dam of this horse here, the Belmont winner of 1936. It's only the 4th dam of Miss Uppity. So we're nearly back 100 years in 5 dams on this horse, Hill Road. Proper old school pedigree, this one. Just the sort of horse I like. And you'll see there that Granville has 15 of 18 starts in the first 3, 8 wins, 4 seconds, 3/3, earnings of $111,820 1930s US. Probably more than the budget of some small countries in them days. You'll see there that Belmont of 1936 also won the Classic Stakes, the Travers, That's a race still these days, isn't it? Second in the Preakness of 1936 as well, and the Wood Memorial. Champion 3-year-old colt horse of the year in 1936. Lost by a nose in those 3 races, Suburban Handicap, Preakness and the Wood Memorial. And lost his rider after the start of the 1936 Kentucky Derby. You know, Belmont is Granville is actually quite closely related to our section. But yeah, when it comes to decent European horses on this line, your Scirocco is on it. Yeah, it's probably about the best I found on it. You've got to remember that the lady who made this site sadly passed away in 2004. Around that time, I think it was. So sadly, a lot of the horses from the current days are not on this site. There's a couple there. Look, even there, back to 1919 Hungarian Guineas winners there. Look. Very interesting line, this 2E. Doesn't seem to be a lot on it apart from Scirocco in Europe. So it seems to be Australians definitely had a go on it. But yeah, interesting line. Is this horse here, Hill Road, a classic horse? Well, we'll close down a few tabs to save on CPU. And then what we'll do is try and work that out. I mean, I've always liked this horse from day one. You know, I watched it win on debut and then I looked at the pedigree of it and thought, yeah, this is a horse. I didn't actually back it first day out because, you know, I don't look at every 2-year-old maiden. That'd be a ridiculous thing to do. There's so many of them and you don't want to be looking at too many horses. You want to be looking at as many good horses as possible. And hopefully the other horses just don't exist. You know, don't look at them. So I noticed it had won. It beat a highly rated Cornwall horse at the time that was odds on. So I looked at the pedigree of it, noticed it was related to City of Light, and the rest I thought, right, we'll try this one. There's a Group 2 on that day. They tried it at the National Stakes. I was hoping it'd run that day. I think Diego Velasquez won it. And I thought they had him in the wrong race that day, and then they went 60-1. 60-1 in the Breeders' Cup. That don't put me off. And I just weighed in, and it finished third. Bit disappointed it got beat. Went in that race, and then it won the Peter Pan Stakes in good style. We'll have a look at that race as well, I think. But first, what we'll do is we'll go back to August 2024, and we'll go to Ireland, and we'll go to the turf. And we'll watch the horse Hill Road win at Leopardstown, and then we'll see what we think.
That off. Over a mile, the opening race. The EBF 2-year-old maiden. Last one out and trading the field is Ryback. It's Trinity College, joined by Admitted Door, who goes up in between horses, followed by Driver's Seat and Hill Road and Shackleton, as they race the end of a furlong. Heading down the far side of the track, and it is Admitted Door, Trinity College, attended by Driver's Seat, tracked by Hill Road, as they race inside the 6 furlong point. These are a couple of lengths up on Shackleton. Next on the inside is Emit with alongside Kingstonian and then Buck Barrow. Medieval Knight is 2 behind Sir Jeremy and Ryback. They're well spaced out. Coming off the back straight, it's Admitted Door and Robert Weirty in front, followed by Trinity College, Wayne Lorden. Third is Hill Road and David Egan with a break of 2.5 to 3 lengths to Driver's Seat, and then Shackleton racing together, Kingstonian and Emit. 3 lengths to Buck Barrow and then Medieval Knight, Sir Jeremy, and a widening break to the trailing Ryback. They've gone by the halfway stage, and it is in front, Admitted Door, rejoined by Trinity College, and third is Hill Road. Shackleton is gaining on the 3 as they hit the straight, and then Driver's Seat, followed by Emit, and then Kingstonian, Medieval Knight, Buck Barrow, Sir Jeremy, and Ryback. Furlong and a half to go, and Hill Road has taken it up from Trinity College. Driver's Seat on the rail is Shackleton, followed by Emit, who runs on ahead of Medieval Knight, and then Kingstonian, but away and gone is Hill Road. Hill Road and David Egan widening their lead over Driver's Seat, Trinity College, Shackleton in a fight for the placings ahead of Emit, but it is Hill Road winning comprehensively on debut by 6 lengths to Shackleton and Driver's Seat.
I mean, you saw there that horse just ate up the ground at the key stage of the race, didn't it? Between the half furlong pole, the furlong pole and the 2 furlong pole, really, I think, is where you would normally see a horse show its class with the way it travels, and it'll just make up a lot of ground in a lot of time. And I think we saw a bit of that there, didn't we, with that horse? You know, I thought that was a very impressive performance. First time out in it from Hill Road that day. I forgot Trinity College was also in that race. Trinity College was actually placed in a classic earlier this week, the French Derby. I think it was third, behind a stablemate Camille Pissarro, where the jockey Wayne Lord had left a lovely gap, let's just say, for the winner to get up the rail. Wasn't really interested at all in the position of his horse in that race, but he still held on to gain a place ahead of Azimpur and Ridari. So as a classic placed horse already 5 lengths behind this horse, Hill Road, on that day. Very good performance that was, I thought, on the day. And it was a while since we got to look at the horse again. It ran well in the National Stakes. I mean, in not the National Stakes, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. It did run well. And then it was third in the South Tampa Bay Derby in March 2025. And then back in Group 3 level in the States, the horse managed to gain its first pattern race victory to go with its impressive maiden victory in the Group 3 Peter Pan Stakes, which apparently is a decent trial for the Belmont historically in America. I didn't really know that. So it was an interesting race. Let's watch the Peter Pan Stakes and see what we think.
Breaks very well. Has the speed. It's Vassimo, who wants to be on the front end. Is hard sent here by Irad Ortiz Jr. Is intent on being on the front end, right there with Captain Cook. Still hustle on. Vassimo wanted to get there, but Captain Cook is going to be quickest, and Captain Cook will cross over from Manny Franco is in front. Switching right to the outside to stalk is Vassimo, is now a clear second. McAfee is a close-up third. 2 lengths in front of Uncaged. Kendrick Harmouche well settled right there in 5th. At the rail of Surfside Moon and Junior Alvarado. Burton's Baytown is now progressing, has taken that 5th position away, and that's going to push Surfside Moon back to 6th. Hill Road is towards the back end of the field with first pitch, and the trailer Happily Delusional. Captain Cook shows the way. Captain Cook 23.36 for the opening quarter mile. Vassimo is watching right here from second, starts to move in closer, has been ridden along throughout. Vassimo and Captain Cook, they're still the top 2. McAfee under a patient ride here, and McAfee is traveling well, approaching a half-mile left to go here in the Peter Pan. Uncaged gets the cue. Brereton's Baytown is trying to rally on, dropping back there at the rail with Surfside Moon. Hill Road is starting to commence a rally here, but is still about 5 lengths off the lead. First pitch, and the trailer Happily Delusional. The leader is Captain Cook. Vassimo has been passed by a well-traveling McAfee, and McAfee is looming up on the outside. Captain Cook is encouraged to keep this advantage. They reach the top of the stretch, and Captain Cook is very stubborn and game towards the inside. McAfee continued to travel well, is ready to challenge, and McAfee to the outside. Hill Road is coming from 4 out of it, and here comes Hill Road with sights on the top 2. Captain Cook is in front. McAfee, these two shoulder to shoulder, and Hill Road about to join them both. McAfee's taking the lead. Here comes Hill Road with every single stride to win the Peter Pan. Hill Road over McAfee, then came Captain Cook and Surfside Moon in 1 minute 49.22 seconds in the Peter Pan.
Again, the horse at the end there of that race looks pretty relentless, didn't it? You know, it was coming on and coming on. And I remember watching that race, and I knew the horse had won halfway down the straight. Absolutely relentless, powerful-looking horse. And the Torpedoes Anna's brother, McAfee, and the other horse, Captain Cook, they got in a great battle there. And people could have forgiven for thinking they were fighting out the finish. But I was only watching one horse, and it weren't those two. And the horse gathered them in, I thought, comfortably. Good ride by Flavian Pratt on the day on Hill Road. And is Hill Road a classic horse? Well, like we've seen there, he is entered in the final US Classic of the season, the Belmont Stakes, which is this year at Saratoga. So if nothing goes wrong now between now and, say, then, there's a fair chance that people might actually see Hill Road on a Classic Watch 25 some point this weekend, touch wood. Hopefully everything goes well for me and the horse before then. But yeah, it's done everything right at the right time. It's got off the mark at pattern level in Group 3 company. Very impressive first time out winner. The horse was always a possible when based in Ireland on the turf. And since being switched to America, nothing has happened really to change my mind, especially now it's off the mark in pattern company. what I will do is I will leave this video here now. Thank you very much to everybody for deciding to watch this video. It's always very much appreciated. What I will do is I will leave you a copy of all the Classic Watch 25 Possibles, so you can take a look at all of the horses at your own leisure. And I will also give you an opportunity, if you've sat and watched through this video for 40 minutes and haven't subscribed to this channel, then I think this might be the channel for you, 40 minutes of your time, there's plenty of more videos to come, hopefully, in the future, touch wood. So why don't you subscribe to the channel to give yourself a better opportunity of catching the videos in future. That's what I'd do if I was you anyway, 40 minutes. You're obviously interested, aren't you? Go on. You'll be doing yourself a favour, I think, because you'll learn a lot about horses. Right, I'm going to leave this video here now. Like I said, fantastic week of racing coming up. 2 classics in Australia, the Australian Derby and the Queensland Derby, and the Queensland Oaks. You have to say weather permitting, really. You've got you've got to say the UK Derby and the Oaks as well coming up at Epsom, and there's also the Belmont at Saratoga. Will it feature Hill Road? Hopefully it will. But for now, I think I'll leave this video here. Take care of yourselves, everybody, and your loved ones. Enjoy the rest of your week and have a fantastic upcoming weekend. Look after yourselves, and goodbye.